in LA this week.
How they want to elevate the African American community into becoming future firefighters. It was very inspiring, and I just wanted to join.
Someone brandishing a firearm, racking the slide with intent to kill us.
Ranger Fuentes did not have the proper tools to protect himself and others in the park that day.
Pop culture, Evel Knievel jumped in the LA Coliseum, religious events, political rallies, community events, fireworks shows, military celebrations. The list is endless.
Hello everyone, I'm Natalia Bilbao. Here's what's happening in LA this week. The COVID-19 vaccine has finally arrived, and the frontline health workers in Los Angeles get to be among the first in line. Mayor Eric Garcetti, along with the LA Fire Department, recently announced the rollout at one of the 3 vaccination sites.
Today we're here at the Lincoln Park Rec Center, which is one of 3 city-run sites where we're going to expand our vaccinations, not just to our own personnel of the fire department, but also to our incredible healthcare workers. The other 2, one is in South Los Angeles at Crenshaw Christian Center, and the other is at San Fernando Park, where we also have a walk-up testing center.
We are joining our partners at CORE, Curative, Carbon Health, USC, and the LA County Department of Public Health. The vaccine is the most critical tool we have in the battle against COVID-19, and the LAFD is proud to be on the front lines as we protect our healthcare workers, our communities, and the people that we serve. By next week, we will have the ability to provide healthcare worker vaccinations at 4 of our 15 LA City testing sites. And we will begin providing vaccinations to 22 skilled nursing facilities within the city of Los Angeles, which totals approximately 7,000 residents and staff.
If it sounds like we're moving quickly, it's because we are. We cannot move quickly enough when it comes to COVID. There's simply no time to spare with this virus raging in our city, and with Los Angeles being in many ways ground zero in this nation right now for COVID-19 propagation. We're going to be administering about 300 doses to our healthcare workers, especially in those hard-hit neighborhoods where we see community spread, where we need them to be able to show up to work.
Healthcare workers have been tirelessly serving on the front lines. These heroes must be protected so they can do their jobs safely and to keep their own families and communities safe.
As a pharmacist, I can tell you that we are confident in the science of these vaccines. The vaccine is effective, and it's necessary to keep our communities safe and to slow the spread.
If you need a test, as always, go to our city's website at coronavirus.lacity.org/testing.
The city has been given support in the vaccination rollout from USC, the LA County Department of Health, and the nonprofit organization CORE. Meanwhile, over at Dodger Stadium, drive-through COVID-19 testing continues. Wait times have been clocked sometimes over an hour. So the stadium has worked out a new strategy with LAFD to help alleviate the long lines and local traffic congestion. Take a look.
Today is just another day of testing, but it starts a new phase where we've added an additional lot, thanks to the cooperation of the Dodgers management, making that lot available for us. We've taken a lot of the pressure off city streets and put it on Dodgers property. A lot of the neighbors have been inconvenienced by this traffic that's been going on around Dodger Stadium for about a year, almost a year now. It's still quite a bit of traffic. It's still a long wait. It's way over an hour of waiting, and you do need to make an appointment before you show up here. But it is an improvement. It's a step forwards and trying to do something to improve things. Hoy es un día que está bastante ocupado el tráfico. Estamos a capacidad. 13,300 es la capacidad todos los días y estamos pues a capacidad el día de hoy y el día de mañana. Más de 1 millón de personas se han hecho específicamente la prueba de COVID aquí en el estadio de Dodgers. Hemos hecho prueba a 3 millones de personas en este año de COVID.
Like virtually every industry, airlines have a whole new set of safety parameters that must be met for the protection of their customers. Some locations require a negative COVID-19 test prior to travel, so the need for quick results have become critical for travelers. We spoke with Justin Arbachi from the Los Angeles World Airports about the new rapid testing sites at LAX.
We have behind me here a COVID-19 testing lab. So not only are they taking the specimens here, they're doing the swabbing like they do in many places, but they're actually performing the tests in the lab right behind us. That allows us to have the results so fast in that 3 to 5 hour period.
Pues para prevenir que no vayamos a propagar el COVID para nadie, ¿verdad? Y estar seguro de que vamos correctamente con las directrices y las reglas que requieren las líneas aéreas.
It's important for us to have this facility here, but also to offer rapid tests because we believe that passengers will need to have proof of a negative COVID-19 test in order to be able to either get on an airplane to their destination or upon arrival to be able to avoid a quarantine or reduce the amount of quarantine.
A lot of people would come get tested 24 hours before their flight, get results before they hopped on a plane. That's pretty much the procedure. And then get the results basically emailed to them or through a link in a secure site online.
For me, it's important so that way whoever I'm around, they feel safe with me there.
I have to take a COVID test before I fly back home, and that's to avoid the 10-day quarantine and also to protect my family back at home.
It's very important when people are traveling to test to make sure that they are not carrying the virus or they haven't contracted the virus during their journey.
In all areas of law enforcement, officers can only protect and serve effectively if they have the tools to do the job. And included in this particular group of public servants are Los Angeles Park Rangers. Council members Joe Buscaino of District 15 and John Lee of District 12 held a press conference last week to discuss the logic and necessity of arming our park rangers.
We observed 2 people with an alcoholic beverage, and it escalated to someone brandishing a firearm, racking the slide with intent to kill us.
Ranger Fuentes did not have the proper tools to protect himself and others in the park that day.
The motion that I introduced earlier this year would be to advance efforts to arm our park rangers.
You can't have good communities without having safe communities, and so this is something that we're going to, support, and I hope that my colleagues support us with.
Cuando nos han sacado armas, solamente podemos correr. Como cualquier otra persona aquí en el parque, correr y llamar que venga LAPD a ayudarnos.
At that time, my trainee, with his training, he yelled gun. And then at that point, we ran for our lives.
So by the grace of God, Ranger Fuentes is with us today.
I was scared. I thought I was gonna die.
And we owe it to park rangers like Park Ranger Fuentes. They took an oath. They swore to an oath to protect and serve people in our parks. But we're now allowing them to protect themselves, which is wrong. And we need to change that.
Parece bien porque estamos viviendo un tiempo de mucha inseguridad, donde hay mucha violencia y se ha visto mucho caso que anteriormente no se miraba, que hay mucha persona armada. So, si alguien que estamos corriendo, estás en peligro y un oficial no está armado, ¿cómo te va a defender?
As a whole, I do feel like I love my job. I love being a park ranger, and I just want to be safe to go home to my family.
A new navigation center opens in Council District 8. The LA Fire Department shares its photo of the year, and LA Animal Services wants all of us to make 2021 a better year for animals. These stories up next on City Beat.
Mayor Eric Garcetti and Councilmember Marquise Harris Dawson celebrated the opening of a new navigation center in Council District 8. The center, a first for South LA, is a resource for those experiencing homelessness, where they can shower, store belongings, and work with counselors on job and mental health services.
I think it gives a lot of hope to both the folks working with people who are homeless, the outreach workers, and homeless people themselves, because it's a sign that things can get better.
The voters passed Proposition HHH. Some of that goes to housing for folks who are just needing affordable housing. Some of that will go for housing for people on the streets. And some of it goes to navigation centers and facilities like this that helps people on that journey to housing.
The Los Angeles Fire Department announced the winner of their inaugural LAFD Photo of the Year competition. Photographers from across the region captured images of the LAFD in action, with 22 selected as semi-finalists. Dakota Clark's winning image was taken at the November 12th Greater Alarm Structure Fire in Palms. The competition was held on Instagram, and the photo stream garnered over 15,000 views.
Hello, Dakota Clark. We want to congratulate you on a job well done on taking a picture that encompasses everything that a firefighter does.
The top 4 finalists were awarded with the ultimate LAFD swag bag from the LAFD Foundation, as well as a special challenge coin from Fire Chief Ralph Terrasses. As we reflect on the challenges of 2020, LA Animal Services has released a year in review highlighting some of their new programs started during the pandemic. One of their earliest responses was opening 2 pet food pantries that give pet owners experiencing financial burdens food assistance. Animal Services then created monthly online events for people who adopted pets to get helpful advice and ask questions. And they launched a Lost and Found Facebook page to reunite any lost pet with their owners. It has been a lot of work that is still ongoing, so if you'd like to make a tax-deductible donation to help out, please visit laanimalservices.com.
In 1954, a group of African-American Los Angeles City firefighters formed an organization called the Centurions. While their primary goal was to band together to address the discrimination and segregation challenges within LAFD, their purpose has always included community outreach, and it's the work on the latter that shows no signs of letting up. Take a look.
Centurions was basically, centaur means loud voice, the voice of 50. We are the voice for those who don't have a voice. It was formed approximately 70 years ago because the fire department was segregated. We are the ones who fought for desegregation.
How they want to elevate the African American community into becoming future firefighters, and it was very inspiring, and I just wanted to join.
We're all in the process of becoming firefighters. So every Thursday we come, we give back to the community, and then we take time to better ourselves as cadets and candidates to be firefighters.
This is a grind, and this is sometimes when you are going up mountains, you need a guide, and we are the guide.
Today, we're volunteering to donate food to people in the community.
Events like this is vital to certain families because this might be the food that gets them through this week before their next check.
To be hungry is probably the worst thing to feel, especially as a child. To be able to give back to the community like we do, really, you're happy at the end of the day, knowing that you're doing something to better the people around you.
Para mi familia, pues estamos pasando por el COVID, pues gracias a Dios nos están ayudando, porque hemos perdido el trabajo.
What they give, I like what they give. They give a lot of vegetables, and it helps me a lot where my kids are eating healthy.
When I pulled up this morning, it was 6:30, and we had people in line already, and they looked like they had been in line already.
Events like today may make me feel humbled because it makes me appreciate the things that I do have in my life. Being able to come out and help people, there's no greater feeling in the world to help someone in a time of need.
You know, by doing this, it shows that we haven't forgot about you. We haven't forgot about people who are in need, and I think that people really appreciate that.
If the fire department is watching us, I do want to say thank you very much. It's a big blessing for me and a lot of families.
Los Angeles City Centurions are a nonprofit 501c. So if they want to donate, in-kind donation or whatever, it's always welcome. The website is Los Angeles City Centurions.
For almost 5 decades, the LA Regional Food Bank has been collecting, packing, and distributing groceries to the people experiencing food insecurity in Los Angeles. President and CEO Michael Flood zoomed by to tell us more about how the organization is adapting during the current global health crisis.
The food bank has been in existence since 1973 and started very small with a man by the name of Tony Collier getting a pickup truck and picking up food in the Pasadena area at that time. And that model has remained the same, where we have a lot of partners, food donors, there's fresh produce, frozen, shelf-stable items coming in, and really it's a quick turnover of the product, getting it to our agency partners. In early March, we are trying to understand how best to respond, on-site and through distributions. So yes, social distancing within our facilities. In normal times, volunteers work elbow to elbow, shoulder to shoulder in handling food and getting food out. So that had to change. And then we had to really change distributions. These drive-through distributions are new from the pandemic response. People are surprised to see fresh produce and dairy and perishable and frozen items at distributions. They're thinking, oh, food bank, probably some kind of old canned food. And that's probably where food banks were many, many years ago. But we really transformed and want to access as much of a variety and nutritious content of food and get that out. I think as we look into 2021, I think we're all hoping with the vaccine being deployed, and I think we all hope to see the economy bounce back very strong, and unemployment decrease and people working again. But it does unfortunately seem like this is going to be a long run situation for many families and individuals. We're doing what we can to gear up for 2021 to keep doing what we're doing.
For many of us, looking back on 2020 is a cringe-worthy experience. But believe it or not, a few pretty cool things did happen in Los Angeles last year. Council members Karen Price of District 9 and Mitch O'Farrell of District 13 each reflected on their achievements of 2020 and their aspirations for 2021. Maria Hall-Brown reports.
Councilmember Price, it's so nice to see you.
Good seeing you, Maria. It's good to be with you and your viewers.
You made some pretty strong decisions with the new ninth during this past year, in particular around COVID and testing and making sure that there was an outreach to the people that you serve. What did you realize and why did you make the decisions and what exactly did you do?
Well, it was apparent early on that minority communities were being disproportionately impacted with this pandemic. So it was imperative for us as a government, local government, to help get the word out, to spread the word.
You bet. And you stepped in also with testing. How were your testing programs?
Well, we're really excited about that. We probably tested over 100,000 over the past several months. We established the first walk-up testing facility. We're doing testing in the senior centers, senior homes with our fire department. We even have reached out to organizations. So we're getting the word out, we're providing services.
Well, Tennyson said, hope smiles for the threshold of the year to come, whispering it will be happier. Councilmember Price, do you think it's going to be happier? What are you looking forward to?
Well, I do think it's going to be happier. I think, we should all be excited about the vaccine. In the meantime, we have to do what we need to do, and that is still be mindful, be careful, and kind of watch the science. But as we do roll back out, we're excited about supporting our local businesses, our small businesses, helping them to continue to be employers in our community. We know we've got to provide assistance for renters, for small property owners, and we've got to do more making sure that we're leveraging resources for our youth, especially inner city youth. Black and brown youth are falling behind on the learning curve with the either not having access to technology, not utilizing it, the ineffectiveness of the systems. And so we got to do a better job. Almost a third of my population is under 18. Maria. So I'm real sensitive to the needs that we have, and so we're always expanding opportunities in our parks, recreation centers, open spaces. Again, trying to be a bridge with the schools as they continue to educate our kids.
Well, I look forward to talking to you in the new year. I appreciate you being with us today, and warmest wishes for the holiday, sir.
Thank you. Same to you and your family.
I am delighted to be joined by Council Member Mitch O'Farrell from the 13th. So nice to see you, Mitch. There's a joke.
You too.
Yeah. There was a quote, I had to actually think about this, by a man named Henry Guest. He said, if Plan A fails, remember you still have 25 letters. I think that is a perfect explanation of all the decisions that had to be made in such a tumultuous year. And you made some really, really positive choices. How do you feel as the year ends here?
Well, Maria, first of all, thank you for having me. It's great to see you. And I think that if we go with that example, we're probably on X, Y, and Z. Let me just say a disclaimer here. Nothing we ever do is enough or will be enough, considering the challenges we face. But my team and I set to make sure that we did everything we could to keep people fed and housed. The funding that I did for the renters helped about 500 households in the 13th district. We turned that into a citywide program where we used CARES Act funding. We allocated over $100 million to help renters across the city. We know that over 50,000 households in the city of LA have benefited from this.
Wow. And so many of the things that you're talking about are so fundamental to people's basic needs, and including being fed.
Yes. So I worked with my colleague Paul Krikorian on a state-funded program for delivering meals to seniors. And we did that while also supporting taxi cab drivers. So we supported the taxi cab industry while delivering meals to seniors. So that's one thing that we did months ago. But as far as the food distribution, yeah, I mean, back in the first week of April, I was at the Dream Center in my district helping them distribute drive-through food distribution efforts, which they continue. And since then, I've worked with about 20 organizations, just so many. And then we began doing a monthly food distribution in addition to all that out of my field office. And we're going to continue that once a month through all of 2021, because it's going to take a while to get caught up, even once the vaccines have been rolled out and the pandemic begins to ease. It's going to take a lot of work and recovery after that.
But now there's a new year ahead of us. And so what are you looking forward to in 2021?
Once the pandemic eases, there's going to be such pent-up energy to just get back out there. Once we are back out there enjoying life, we're going to value things much more. And I hope that we never, ever forget that. There will probably be the 2020 pandemic generation. And you know, it's a reminder of how precious life is and how appreciative we can be for the blessings that we have.
Well, thank you for all you've done, and I look forward to seeing you in person, and warmest wishes for the new year.
In our feature story this week, we meet the general manager of one of LA's most beloved national historical landmarks. Our own Rasha Goel sits down with Joe Furin to get the latest on what is happening at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum.
It's known as the greatest stadium in the world and has been host to many historical events. But it's more than just a sports place, the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. And to tell us more about it is General Manager Joe Furin.
Well, it's almost 100 years old. We're 97 years old, so we have a centennial celebration. And that's 10 decades of unbelievable things. As you said, not just the sports, but the Olympics start everything off. That's our bookends from 1932 to 1984. But beyond that, being a place for concerts, being motor shows, automotive shows, pop culture. Evel Knievel jumped in the LA Coliseum. So you're talking religious events, political rallies, community events, fireworks shows, military celebrations. The list is endless.
You know, what's also so interesting is that USC spearheaded this big renovation project in 2018, so you guys were ready to go by the 2019 football season. $315 million project.
The stadium unfortunately had fallen into neglect and needed a lot of upgrades, and so that is why USC decided we'll continue to play there. We'll make that commitment. We'll be there for the next 100 years, but in exchange, and we'll put the money in, but in exchange we want to manage the place. So yes, it was a $300+ million project, very exciting for us.
You know, something we didn't talk about also is how it's a living memorial.
Yes.
So tell our audience about that a little, for those who are unfamiliar.
Yeah, we are a memorial to the World War I armed forces, the U.S. Armed Forces, anyone who served. Back in the 20s, coming off the heels of the end of World War I, nationwide there was a push, a large publicity movement to honor those that had served in the war. And so the community leaders wanted to build a memorial to the veterans. At about the same time, the Coliseum project was coming together, and so it was a natural fit to name it the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum.
It has been such a pleasure, General Manager Joe Furin, having you here with us to share these nuggets about this historical venue, the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. We'll definitely be looking out for more exciting events when we are able to return back to the stadium.
You can watch Joe Furin's full interview with Rasha Goel by visiting our YouTube channel, LA City View 35. Check out Black Motion Pictures on redcat.org, donate to a human trafficking awareness drive, or explore bringing the zoo to you online. All this up next on Virtual Things to Do.
Join feminist performance artist Gabrielle Civil for Black Motion Pictures, a series of Zoom interviews with radical Black creatives about race, performance, and representation. Enjoy talks with interdisciplinary artist and dancer Anna Martine Whitehead, actress filmmaker Sola Bamas, and interdisciplinary designer Kelly Walters. Don't miss Black Motion Pictures, a virtual event happening now through January 14th. To view this video series, visit redcat.org. Join Council President Nuri Martinez as she kicks off Human Trafficking Awareness Month. Every year, the Council President spearheads a month-long toiletry drive to benefit victims and survivors of human trafficking. Everything is needed from toothbrushes to shampoo to deodorant. There are 3 locations where you can donate all month long. Recognize Human Trafficking Awareness Month with a full-size donation. For information, call 213-473-7006. The LA Zoo may be closed for in-person visits, but dedicated animal keepers have dreamed up the next best thing. Bringing the Zoo to You video series gives its online audience incredible views and some new perspectives on our animal residents and the compassionate experts who care for them. See how the LA Zoo delivers meaningful opportunities for discovery, education, and inspiration every day online. The Bringing the Zoo to You video series is available for viewing free right now. Visit lazoo.org/zoo to you. And that's a look at some virtual things to do.
That's it for this edition. I'm Natalia Bilbao. From all of us here at LA This Week, thank you so much for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. See you next time for more LA This Week.